Get that fucking trash out of your life. You have legacies to build. We grew that business from 3.4 million to 17.1. Horsepower, not horse shit. You want to be the parent that's an ally. They don't need another fucking friend. Not everybody's cup of whiskey. Toughest advice for the toughest businessmen. Be relentless. I received a question from Marcus Hanlon yesterday. Marcus is one of my elite Email Millions mastermind members. He's also a subscriber to my Michael McLean world building letter. Marcus is a serious student, a serious husband, a serious father, a serious student of marketing and entrepreneurship. He is an insurance agent in New York City who takes his craft seriously. One of his question to me yesterday made me think of the three types of people in the world. I've been at this a long time working with people in the entrepreneurial arena. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 31 glorious years, since age 12, with lemonade stands and garage sales and tennis camps and hockey schools and selling, sport baseball cards. I've been in the entrepreneurial game for a long time. I've worked with a lot of people, met a lot of people, dealt with a lot of people. And then I had 22 years of pro and amateur sports coaching in hockey and tennis, where I've met a lot of people, dealt with a lot of athletes, dealt with a lot of extreme competitors, some of the most mentally tough, driven, motivated men and women you could ever imagine. And it's taught me one thing, that there's three types of people in this world. And it relates to Marcus's question, where he was asking me, he said, "Coach, my dad," we were talking about writing emails for Father's Day this coming weekend. And I was recommending to my brothers and sisters in the Email Millions program. By the way, if you're not part of the Email Millions program, do you have brain damage? Are you suffering from manufactured mental illness, or are you one of these 99% cell phone junkies scrolling your life away, the precious moments in your life? Wise up. Join the program. It is the honey that brings in the money. Emailmillions.coach. The doors are open for a few days before I slam them shut again. Emailmillions.coach. Sign up and invest in your family, your business, everything, your peace of mind. So Marcus's question reminded me that there's three people in this world. And his question was about, I'm helping my students write their first Father's Day email to their list. And it doesn't matter if they have a tiny list of 25 people like I started with, or they have a list of 2,000 people. It does not matter. What matters is they start sending an email every single week to their list, building a relationship. The relationship before the click. It's about relationship capital. Over the next few years, you're building a relationship with your list of prospect and buyers. So we've been working on getting ready to send an email this week. Happy Father's Day theme. Marcus sent his on Monday or Tuesday of this week. And there's a pitch in the PS to call for a quote for insurance if he can be of service. But Marcus was asking about a second Father's Day follow-up email that we're working on. We send 2 Father's Day emails, or at least I recommend. They can do whatever they want. The second one is following up on Father's Day by telling a story about your father, about their father. And the number one most valuable lesson that their father taught them, it's called a reply email. And then in the PS or somewhere in the email, they ask, tell me, would you like to share with me, reply to this email with the number one thing your father has taught you. Very, very powerful concept. It's called reply emails. I do this from time to time when I've asked you in the past to tell me the number one thing your mother has taught you, the number one thing your father has taught you, the number one thing you're most proud of this year, the number one thing that you're struggling with. They're called reply emails, and they're so powerful because you share a bit of your life first, and then you ask the person about their life. And what is the number one thing that people want today in today's distracted, narcissistic society? They want to talk about themselves. Nobody is listening to anybody, right? Nobody is listening to understand. Nobody is listening to hear. Everybody's just listening to respond. Are you done talking and now want to talk about me? So when you genuinely ask people on your email list what they think about something, and then you actually listen or read the replies, it's a powerful concept because you'll get a large percentage of your list replying. And then what does that do? That creates a back and forth one-to-one. You want to create, like, you want to write your emails like they're one-to-one, like you're sitting across the table from a friend, enjoying a cup of coffee or lunch or dinner. And you always want to write in the first person. So when Marcus sent me this question, his question was, my father taught us what not to do. My father was not the type of father. He never showed up as a father. And he actually literally taught me what not to do, how to not be a father, how to not be a man. And his question was, should I share this with my list? That my dad didn't teach me what to do. He taught me what not to do. Should I share this with my list in this reply email, or should I just do something else and ignore it? And when I replied to him personally, I told him that he reminds me of my father, who was abandoned at birth, left at the hospital the first 30 days of his life. He became put into foster care and then adopted into a family. And, my dad started his life with nobody wanting him. His dad was an alcoholic. His mom got sick during childbirth. They weren't capable of raising a child. And then my dad got adopted into a family with a bunch of older kids. The parents were older. There was no ambition, no entrepreneurship, no role models really at all. So my dad was like flying alone his entire early years of his life, at least the first 20 years. And Marcus's situation reminds me because, when you think about Marcus and you think about my dad, those guys followed Uncle Earl Nightingale's number one principle. Earl Nightingale is the godfather of personal development, the godfather. And what was Uncle Earl's number one concept? His number one principle for living life and doing business on your own terms. What was his number one principle? Look around at what everybody else is doing. Look around at what everybody else around you is doing and do the exact opposite. And then Earl continued, you'll probably never make another mistake as long as you live. Like the mass majority, the 99% now, are dead ass wrong about everything. Not some things, everything. Especially money, especially wealth, especially marketing, especially success, fitness, health, nutrition, marriage, raising children, habits, technology. Dead ass wrong about everything. So if you ever need a blueprint for winning and you don't have a great role model in front of you, like Marcus, like my dad, these elite men just looked around and said, I don't know exactly what I want just yet, but I sure as fuck know I don't want this. My dad tells the story of his older brother coming home one day, and they were all drunks. The kids were all drunks and alcoholics and chain smokers, and they worked, all bootlickers, working for the weekend. And if you got a job at the post office, that was a win. And my dad remembers one time coming down from upstairs in their little home, and his brother, who was a couple years older than him, was between the two doors. He was between the outer door and the screen door. There was two doors at the front of the house. And somebody had brought his brother home on a Saturday night, and he was so intoxicated that he propped him up between the outdoor and the second door and left him there for the rest of the night. So my dad comes down in the morning heading to work, and he opens up the front door, and his brother, adopted brother, falls down into the house, onto the floor. He literally passed out and spent the night between the two doors at the front of the house. No role model there. Just, oh my God, I know I don't want this. So it's almost a scared straight situation where you're like, I'm too young to know exactly what I want, but I sure as hell don't want any of this. That's rare. That's rare that the apple doesn't fall right beside the tree. It's why I have so much respect for men like Marcus and men like my father who have broken the cycle. Do you know, it takes mental balls to break a cycle. It's so easy to sell out and to phone it in and to be just like your parents. It's so easy to fall into that life of addiction or, living for the weekend or my dad did this, and you end up with a tomato can life. But Marcus and my dad, they're guys who had that vertebrae, that stiffening of the vertebrae where they said, no way is this going to be my movie. No way is this going to be my life. And they literally used the power of Uncle Earl's principle of looking around and saying, man, I don't know what everyone else is doing, but I'm going to do the exact opposite. And Marcus's question about should he share what his dad taught him not to do, I said that's a powerful concept to share with your group, with your tribe, with your prospects. And it reminded me of the three types of people that I deal with every single day, you deal with every single day. In all my experience, there's three types of people in this world. Number one, 95% of people know what they don't want. You walk up to a person, 95%er, and you say, listen, what are your goals, your dreams, your mission, your ambition? And 95% of men and women will say, well, I don't want to live in this house. Oh, I don't want to drive this car. I don't want to live in this town. I don't want to retire in this city. I don't. They don't have any clue what they want, but they can give you a laundry list of everything they don't want. They've never given it any deep thought to what they want. All they know through whining, complaining, and excuse making is what they don't want. Well, I don't want to work here forever. I don't want to be married to this guy forever. I don't want to be stuck in this country. I don't want to. They know what they don't want. The second type of person is the person who knows exactly what they do want. These are what I call the 4%ers. So you've got the 95%, all they know is what they don't want. I don't want this. And then you have that 4%er in there that knows what they want. Well, I want to live in Florida. I want to live in a 4-bedroom house. I want to drive this car. I want to weigh this much. Excuse me. I want to take vacations. I want to travel to Italy. I want to travel to Sweden and Norway. I want to go down unders to Australia. I want to teach yoga. I want to coach football. They know exactly what they want, everything that they want. I want to retire at this age. I want to golf 3 days a week. I want to go to the Masters every year. I want to go to the US Open. They know exactly what they want. That's high-end stuff when I ask somebody and they tell me exactly what they want. Now, here's the big key. And I think this applies to a guy like Marcus and a guy like my dad for sure, is the top 1%er that we're all trying to be every day. You kill off the person you were today so that you can become the 2.0 version of yourself. The top 1%, the best of the best. Top 1% husband, father, entrepreneur, community leader. That's the goal. Well, guess what? The top 1%er, when I ask them what they want, they have a list and they know definitively exactly what they do not want. They can give you that list. I do not want alcohol in my home. I do not want a marriage that's like a roommate with a ring. I do not want to live in a cold climate. I do not want to tolerate. They have standards. They have standards and they have powerful ideas of what they'll no longer tolerate. They're not going to tolerate it. They don't want these things in their life. I do not want toxic employees. I do not want toxic people. I do not want people in my world that don't believe in me. I do not, almost a list, a do not do list is almost what they have. Top 1%er. Secondly, they know exactly what they do want. I want boom, 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 boom with deadlines and timelines. I want to travel Europe on my Harley when I'm age 60. I want to weigh 197 pounds for my 55th birthday. I want to hire a personal trainer. I want to live 6 months of the year in Montana. I want to climb this mountain. I want to bike across Europe. Whatever it is, they know exactly what they want with timelines. And that is what the 1%er, that's the 3 types of people. The 99%ers, the ordinary, the average, the quiet desperation crowd, they can't tell you what they want. They can only tell you what they don't want in a very negative loser sense. I don't want this. I certainly don't want this the rest of my life. Secondly, the second type of person, they can tell you what they do want. Well, I want a nice house and I want to retire and we want to downsize and we want to travel a little bit. And then you have the 1% badasser that we run into in our worlds who knows exactly what they do not want and they know exactly what they do want. And that reminds me of Marcus and his question about my dad taught me what not to do. And I said, man, I think that what not to do is more powerful than even what to do. And then when you combine the two, you get top 1% peak performance. All high achievers know what they want and know what they do not want. But don't underestimate. I always start the year when I do any goals or any targets for the year, I always start with what I no longer want to tolerate in my life. I no longer am going to tolerate this. I'm no longer going to tolerate poisoning my body with alcohol, my mind and my soul. I'm no longer going to tolerate carrying an extra 10 pounds. I'm no longer going to tolerate eating high carbohydrate foods that make me old, make me tired, make me foggy, and make me ill. I'm no longer going to tolerate this vendor who can't be on time and prompt with our products. I'm no longer going to tolerate a relationship with this person who does not want me to win. I'm no longer going to tolerate not walking every single day. I'm no longer going to tolerate not having an email list and emailing it every single week. And you just go through it. I'm no longer going to tolerate a marriage that's not on fire. I'm no longer going to tolerate a disconnection with my children. And then you make a list of all the things that you do want. And that's how champions operate. They know what they want. They know what they don't want. So to answer Marcus's question, I said to him, you have a very powerful story to share with your list. He needs to constantly share that story with other people that didn't win the parental lottery like I did. There's a lot of people out there that were underfathered, didn't have a father, absentee father, whatever. And man, he's going to give people an opportunity to tell their story and how they became successful without, perfect role models. And it'll be the same for moms, Mother's Day, and this kind of stuff. What's the number one thing your mom taught you? What's the number one thing your dad taught you? That's the way to write emails. That's the way to communicate with your list. Not shoving your products down their throat. Nobody gives a shit what you sell until they need it. And then if it's good, they'll just take it from a person that they have a friendship with. Nobody cared about my insurance products. I never talked about my insurance products. I never talked about my haircuts. I never talked about my hockey team. I never talk about coaching and consulting. I don't talk about the plane ride on my vacation. I talk about the destination. Where is this going to take you? You read my book, you're going to live life and do business on your own terms. Okay, you join one of my masterminds, you're going to go from top 5% to top 1%. You're going to have this, boom, 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 more money, more time, more influence, more power. That's the kind of stuff you talk about, a personal relationship. So Marcus has got a big thing there in front of me as he builds that list over the next few years, sharing his story, his personal story. Everybody in Canada and the United States loves a rags to riches story. Why do you think we love the Rocky movies? Why do you think we love the underdogs in the Super Bowl? Why even Vegas loves the underdog? Are you kidding me? This is the big time, sharing your stories, especially if you've had a difficult time. He's going to inspire people with that story, and he's going to have to tell it over and over again. He's going to have to talk about his childhood. He's going to have to talk about what he learned not to do. He's going to have to talk about the strength of his mother. He's going to have to talk about, cutting the rope with these people in his life to build a new life. He's going to have to talk about his kids and his queen and how he wanted a different outcome for them. Man, that's a powerful story. That's a story like my dad, where they had every excuse to quit. They had every excuse to follow the crowd off the cliff. They had every excuse in the world to mail it in and to just become exactly what their parents were and their environment was, and they said, no way. No way. I'm breaking the cycle. I'm breaking the cycle. I'm taking Uncle Earl's advice, And I'm doing the exact opposite of everything I've been told, everything I hear, everything I see, because I don't want this. Powerful, powerful concept. So thank you to Marcus for sending that question to me. I'm going to post this video also in the email millions locker room, so people can understand the power of a story and understanding that sometimes it's very powerful to, it's very powerful to see what you don't want, to share what you do not want in your life. In fact, it can be more powerful. You start your goals with what you don't want, what you're no longer going to tolerate in your world, what you're no longer going to settle for. That's more powerful than anything. So those are the 3 types of people in the world. Make sure you're that third one. You know what you don't want and you don't tolerate what you don't want. You constantly raise your standards and raise the bar. Number 2, you know exactly what you do want. Written goals, photos, videos. This is exactly what I want to do with the next 5 days, 5 months, 5 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. This is the time I want to do it. It's going to be timelines and deadlines. And finally, you want to combine the 2 like a top 1%er. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. And when you combine those 2 in terms of goal setting, vision, mission, man, oh man, you become literally relentlessly unstoppable. You are unstoppable. You have this movie in your mind that says, I don't want that. I don't want that in my life. I don't want that in my world. But I do want this. I do want this. Makes you magnetic to what you want. It pulls you to what you want, and it repels all the toxicity out of your world. I don't want to be around that person. I don't want to carry my cell phone. I don't want to take my cell phone to dinner. I don't want to be checked out on my kids. Hey, Cliffy. There you go. Let talk. Oh, Cliffy doesn't have a GPS for oncoming vehicles. He's not the most clever around vehicles, let's just say. So that's the 3 types of people in this world. As I said earlier, I'm opening up the doors for email millions for a few more days. We have a great group of guys and gals in there who are getting started, learning how to write email copy, learning how to write a swimming pool, write a vacation, write a new kitchen, write their kids' college fund, write a trip to Europe, whatever it is. Write a gym in their home, a Harley Davidson, whatever it is you want to do. And email millions.coach. There's some room in there. I'm going to take 5 more people on. If you're a small business owner or one-man show, one-gal show, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a freelancer, a consultant, a coach, a CEO, a founder of a company, small business owner, this is exactly for you. If you're an excuse maker or a do-nothing, or you're a domesticated house cat, this is not for you. So email millions.coach. You can sign up today and you can be on the very next training. By the way, I write 52 emails for you this year. I hold you by the hand. I give you one-on-one coaching like I just did here for Marcus. And I basically hand you my soup to nuts email blueprint that I've used for the last 20 years. Has email worked for me as a small business owner? Well, it's worked for me in the hockey business. It's worked for me in the barbershop business. It's worked for me in the insurance business. It's worked for me in the coaching business. It's worked for me in the consulting business. It's worked for me in the fundraising business. It's worked for me in the hiring help wanted business, how I got all my employees when everybody was struggling. So yes, It's worked in every industry and every size of company. It's the honey that brings in the money. It's the eighth wonder of the marketing world. And I've been able to sell over $150 million of products and services over the last 19, 20 years. I'm an ordinary guy who's been able to do extraordinary things in terms of marketing and sales. How have I done it? Email and mail. Email number one, physical mail number two. I'll show you how to do it when you join our Email Millions Mastermind Coaching Program. Cup of coffee a day is all it costs. A cup of coffee a day. You'd have to have brain damage not to be a part of this. Maybe you do have brain damage, manufactured. Emailmillions.coach. Do what I do. Make sure that when you get home tonight, you hug your family, you hug your wife, you hug your children, you tell them how much they mean to you and how much you love them. It'll make you feel better, and it'll make them feel better, and it'll make this world a little better place. Family is everything. When the king doesn't rise, kingdom dies. Make sure when you walk through that door at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock that you're kinging up and bringing that energy where your wife, your queen, your children, your teenagers, your adult children are just like, can't wait to see that guy. Be the guy who brings the energy, not takes it. Be an energy champion, not a vampire. And get home and hug those people, and the most important thing you do, make you feel better, make them feel better. That's it. Emailmillions.coach. 2 words that changed my life, 2 words that'll change your life. Be relentless.